The Essential Education projector range from Hitachi sponsors ICT programs.
I'm Ian Russell, I'm head teacher of St Philip's Church of England Primary School here on the south side of Bath. I've been here three years in the school now, and a year after I arrived, Ofsted came in and failed the school, putting the school in special measures. We were not delivering ICT, full stop. It just wasn't happening, and you need to be delivering the curriculum. We weren't. They had previously installed a computer suite in the school and software. By the time I came, it had ceased to work. The teachers had lost confidence in it entirely, and virtually no ICT was being delivered in the school.
That was in 2002. ICT was only part of the problem. It took the school 18 months to come out of special measures, and it's now partway through a 5-year plan to implement a coherent strategy for ICT provision. 2 years into the strategy, what's been achieved, and what is there still to do?
When I was first here, if you'd gone into the ICT suite, it wouldn't have looked anything like it does now. The computers were all over the place, there were no workstations, there were no tables as such, nothing organised at all.
One of the key priorities in the plan was to get the ICT suite running properly and used regularly.
The suite as it is at the moment has 17 PCs, all operational, all set out in workstations. The children share one between two because the classes are about 32-ish, sometimes in the juniors a little more. And there's usually one computer that I work on or the teachers work on with the whiteboard, but that can be used by the children as well.
St Philip's used funds from the National Grid for Learning to reorganise the suite and then moved on to provision in the individual classrooms. They put 2 PCs in each infant and 1 in each junior classroom. All the teachers were each given a laptop so that every classroom had at least 2 computers. Now their priority is interactive whiteboards. There's 1 in the ICT room and 1 installed recently in the foundation suite. Infants were seen as a priority, but in the future...
It would be lovely if everybody could have one in their classroom because I think it's sort of the future, but even one between 2 classes would be brilliant. Not to say that that is the be-all and end-all of teaching, it's just a tool that we can use to enhance the teaching, which I think is really, really good.
Computer hardware is fine, but it's only as effective as the skills and confidence of the teachers who are using it. Training is ongoing. This is an interactive whiteboard session for infant teachers being done by the company that sold it to the school.
Normally, if this computer was just in the classroom, it would be useful, but it's certainly not a whole class teaching resource, is it? The board is attached to the computer as well, and basically when I put the pen on the board, you see it picks up the cursor, and I'm actually now able to move the cursor around the board. And you're not.
Teachers vary in their own personal levels of expertise. Some teachers are enthusiastic. They have found that ICT is useful to them. Once they realise what they could achieve with it, they've made use of it. The problem we'll always have is teachers who have never had to use a computer.
And I don't think it's technophobia, I just think they find it very difficult because they don't use it all the time.
Which do you think am I going to want to go? It started with a brand new flip chart.
Money for the initial training came from NOF, the New Opportunities Fund, but still the basics can't always be taken for granted.
But we're all going to come up and have a go at some time on the board, just so we've all got a feel for using it and a little bit of confidence by the end of the session.
There are confident people, but there are people who are not so confident, and it's a real problem trying to sort of get them involved. Even though they've done the training, they still need to have hands-on doing it.
I enjoyed the training. I thought it was good. It was practical, and I think it's very important that instead of just sitting there and giving you all the paperwork and you read through it and you're meant to leisurely do it at your own pace, it was nice to be able to say, right, okay, I want you to try this, have a go, just like we do in the lessons, you know, this is your introduction, this is what I'd like you to do, have a go. And so when you had a go, it was like, oh, exciting, I could do it.
Hands on your heads, looking at me, and you need to listen.
I think it's important to become confident, and with the training, they gave us the confidence so we could go away, practice it and then do it with the children. And if you're not confident, there's no way you can teach the children. They can see straight through you. If you can't do it, it's embarrassing, isn't it? And the children need those skills, so we've got to be confident to be able to teach it.
And even after the initial training, confidence amongst members of staff continues to vary enormously.
I can now just click shut down my computer.
One question.
Yeah.
How do you turn it on?
How do you turn it on? Oh, right. Sorry. You've got to dive in straight in at the start. Let's stop from there.
Now, with an ongoing programme of training and hardware in place, the school's beginning to use computers in the classrooms. And the ICT suite is home to a coherent ICT curriculum.
Okay, this morning, Class 6, we're going to learn today how to edit and improve our text, okay?
Sarah's using the ICT suite for skills in ICT, looking as well at the literacy links in presenting a formal letter.
Now, just looking at that letter, is there anything wrong with it? Anything wrong with it, David?
It's in colours.
It's in colours. Brilliant. Anything else wrong with it? Nicholas? It's different types of writing. What do we call that? And it's different styles of writing, yes? Oh, well done, Lucy. Fantastic. A font. It's different fonts. Now, the letter...
The class, a Year 3 class, mixed ability children, and it didn't really matter if they weren't very good readers. That wasn't a problem because they could listen to the voice.
Dear Sir or Madam, we are doing a project at school about growing plants.
The first thing is that we recognised that some of the teachers would not be able to deliver the whole curriculum in one go. So we planned then that as the training was going to take 2 or 3 terms, we would actually teach the teachers one aspect of ICT at a time and then expect them to deliver that within the classroom.
With the catch-up training, it was literally 1 week the lady would come in and teach us these skills, and then the following week I was actually then having to teach it to my children. So it was pretty quick in between. So she'd teach us one thing, I'd go home, practice it on my own computer, and then the following week teach it to my class.
Now, with the teachers skilled across all the strands, we're much happier that we can rotate the curriculum more freely.
Wow, what a super line. Fantastic. Ooh, who's the best? David's looking good at the front. OK, David, time to go now, please.
While Ian Russell is generally pleased with the way ICT is being taught, when it comes to the broader curriculum, the school's in only the very early stages. The use of computers in individual classrooms varies enormously.
We are going to have a look today at the mosque. What's the mosque? Kate, sorry.
Is the place where they go and pray?
Children in this Year 3 and 4 humanities lesson are using the resource. Their teacher, Jo Hooper, has planned the session on the principles of Islam so that children can take turns to work on the laptop or PC.
Between the words. Okay, sweetheart. The program the children use and we use is a program called Texties, which is a it's got word processing program. It's also got a drawing element on it. And they can do lots of other things on there. It's got spreadsheets and a database on there. It's the program they use. It's very much like Word, actually, but it's quite child-friendly because they know it so well. So they're not asking me, how do I use the program? They just know it.
And Jo even takes the laptop home so she can design simple worksheets for the class.
Some software and some actual worksheets we have to make. The worksheet the children are on today, I've had to make at home. So it's having the time, and when teachers have got the time and they've made them, then we'll all be able to use them. But that's always the problem in school, isn't it? It's trying to balance the time.
One thing we want to develop very much at the moment is to make sure that the computers are being used right throughout the curriculum. The teachers are confidently using the ICT suite to deliver skills teaching, but we're not seeing the computers in the classroom being used as much as we feel they should be. We want to see that happening across the board so that there's always something happening using the computer in the room at any one time.
So Joe is the first of you to do his little homework presentation, and this is it, and he has prepared his on PowerPoint at home. So you're going to listen really, really nicely, Sarah, and you're going to listen by looking as well. Okay, Joe, I'm really looking forward to this.
This is my holiday presentation. I went to America, Norway and Prague. It was in summer and it was very hot, and there was loads of theme parks. And
one of the bonuses for the school has been the positive effect of ICT on the confidence of some of the pupils.
Joe loves ICT. He is enthusiastic about it, and he's really enjoyed putting together this PowerPoint presentation. He's done the presentation in front of the whole school almost without nerves, which is really unusual for him because he's normally quite a quiet boy who wouldn't normally volunteer to stand up and do something like that in assembly. So that tells me, you know, that ICT is a very good thing for children, and it can help them increase in their confidence. Well, what do we do, everyone?
I'm confident that all the children are receiving the basic core ICT curriculum. I'm not yet seeing the computers being used right across the curriculum throughout the day. That's our next push. That's what we're working on this year.
Hardware, training and curriculum development. In all these areas, St Philip's is now moving forward. But there is one more area where the school's beginning to make use of ICT: assessment. One of the benefits to flow from the strategy has been changes in the way the school assesses its pupils. Like this software helping infant teachers assess the skills of pupils coming into the school.
We still feel it's important to have an assessment of the children as soon as they come into school. The PIPS computer-based assessment is superb, and it gives us very good feedback as to how the children progress through their first year in school.
Can you point to a butterfly? Look at this picture. Can you point to a yacht?
The programme lets the child complete the assessment with the help of an LSA, while the rest of the class can carry on with its work.
We also use something called Snapshot, which allows us to take a snapshot of children's maths development at any one time. And we've only just begun to use that, but we're already finding it gives us a very good picture of where the children are in terms of their development.
Just take a little bit of time. There you are. Did you enjoy that? Good. OK, you can go back to your classroom, sweetheart.
They use this piece of maths assessment software with older children. Classes complete the questions at regular intervals, and it allows the teachers to assess and overcome individual weaknesses.
So Daniel was in class 11, shows me that he's at a high level 4. Now, from this, we'd like to actually move him on to try to get a level 5, because that's our job. We need to look at the topics and see where he needs the extra help, which is in number applications, which is word problems, for example. That's how we can help there. So we would print these off, we'd have a look at them all and move children on from there. It makes maths fun. It makes assessment fun. They don't consider it as an assessment, they just come in and do a task. And that is brilliant, because then they're not all strung out because they've got a piece of paper in front of them. So from that point of view, it's brilliant.
So, from a damning Ofsted report and special measures 2 years ago, this primary school has begun to change the way ICT is perceived by governors, parents, pupils and teachers. It still has some way to go, but what are the lessons so far?
Take your time. Don't try and do it all in a hurry. Expect that it's going to take several years to provide a full implementation of everything you want. Plan your development plan accordingly. The head teacher of the school needs to have a real vision for ICT and a real desire to see it developed in the school. Without that, you're not going to end up with the budget, the resources or the direction for the subject. Keep staff with you. Support them, train them, encourage them, but don't force the pace beyond what they can cope with. But recognise they will get there and help them.
Essential education projectors from Hitachi sponsor ICT programs.